Primož Roglic won the Classica San Sebastian after outsprinting Juan Ayuso from an 8-man group. The race serves as a precursor to La Vuelta a España, while those not selected for the final Grand Tour of the season head to other races. This includes the Deutschland Tour, where the likes of Ben O'Connor and Richard Carapaz will take to the start. Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome back to MyRider. We are on the start list for the Deutschland Tour along with multiple other big names, but the difference this time is that we are the GC leader for our team. This is the Intermarché-Wanty selection for the Deutschland Tour with Gerben Thijssen as our sprinter and us as GC leaders. So we have dual objectives, but we will be going for the overall standings and trying to finish as high as possible. I doubt we'll win, but let's find out.
Guys, today it's for a climb. You'll have to arrive fresh at the foot of the climb to have a chance of victory. Have a good stage.
Away we go then, and we have a 3-rider breakaway up the road, approaching the first climb of the day. Gonzalo Serrano, Stefan Bissegger and Laurens Rex for Intermarché-Wanty. This is exactly the strategy we're going to be going for throughout the race, and we are trying to get points to see if we can sneak the King of the Mountains jersey at the end of this race. With it being a Cat 1 climb, at the end, it might be difficult, but getting points on the board early on is exactly what we want to do. We've been following the wheel of Serrano, who's been burning himself out, and we're going to try and sprint past him, get to the line, and we indeed do that to take 1 measly point for our King of the Mountains classification. Second climb of the day then, but look at the gap. It's only 1 minute and 42 seconds, and UAE Team Emirates know that the quality of the breakaway is very good because they have kept it on a very short leash, as Gonzalo Serrano is going to peel away and look to get the points. He's the best puncher in the group. I don't think we're going to be able to catch him at max red on both occasions, but we're going to try and jump past him because he's slowed down a little bit after dropping us. So we're going to try and use the element of surprise, but away he goes and past us to take the points. So it's going to be a little more difficult to get that final point on the road before the final climb. And I don't think this breakaway is going to go the distance, but we'll try our best to go as far as possible and burn out the domestiques of the other teams. Another incentive is the intermediate sprint, because Bissegger and Serrano are determined to pull this break away as much as they can. Look at the gap, only 1 minute and 15 seconds approaching the intermediate sprints, because the sprinters' teams have all come to the fore and are ready to launch their men. The likes of Uno X for Alexander Kristoff are at this race. As Serrano goes early, we're going to get on the wheel of Stefan Bissegger. 2 very good sprinters on their day, but we're in the draft and we're going to fly past them and hopefully look to cling on. And we indeed do that. They went way too early and paid the price. So now we're going to go back to Gerben Thijssen to see if we can sweep up some remaining points. It's going to be a very difficult task from all the way back here, but we're going to try and weave our way through the peloton, get the draft of a couple of riders, and try and take some minor points. Rex takes the win, and the likes of Groenewegen are in this group, but we take minor points with Gerben Thijssen. And the breakaway only lasted for another 20 kilometres. Laurens Rex dropped his counterparts, but we're going to have to try something new because he's been caught. And that new thing is with Tadej Van Der Poel. We're going to send him in the breakaway because I think UAE have caught us a little bit too early. We're going to see which riders can go with us, if any, at this point, because nobody is reacting to the move. But there are gaps being caused in the peloton. There are splits behind, and we could make a good use of this if we get a good group away. Shampoo-san is now attacking away, and that's exactly what we want, as well as the point over the top for the King of the Mountains classification. But we have a good group that's joined us now. 4 riders with Maestri in behind to make it 5. The likes of Brent Van Moor are in there, Shampoo-san as well. This is a very strong group. Let's see how far it can get. Well, I was never expecting it to go all the way for the stage, but we did get to the foot of the climb, and Van Der Poel has now been caught. And it means that now on the final climb, the peloton are all together. It's a climb of 9 kilometers at 8% average gradient. It's hard in general, but it's made even more difficult by UAE Team Emirates and Rafał Majka, who has received the baton from Isaac Del Toro, who hit the front of the climb hard and lit the blue touch paper for the stage. Mike is continuing to press on for UAE Team Emirates, and he hands over now, flicks the elbow, and it's Brandon McNulty that has been tasked to try and bring this one home for the Emirati team. Off he goes at the front, and out of the saddle he gets for an attack. It's a Tadej Pogacar style move. I wonder whether he's been taking notes off the world champion, but UAE Team Emirates have played a blinder so far. Herregots has been chasing down the breakaways, and he has done that successfully. Del Toro has hit the bottom of the climb hard, and Mike has handed over, and now McNulty has to see this one through to the finish. Out of the saddle he gets. It's a slow effort that is just gradually whittling away riders one by one, but we've got 4 riders at the front of this race. It's Alexander Vlasov on the left for Bull Bora-Hansgrohe. Then there's Skjelmoser, who's come to the front. Ilan van Wilder is also in this group, and it's these 4 that are going to play out the stage. McNulty's attack has left everybody churning a massive gear, and does anybody have anything left for a sprint? It looks as if not, because Skjelmoser is pulling away at the front, and he's going to take the stage win for Lidl Trek. Crossing the line, Matthias Skjelmoser wins stage 1. So Matthias Skjelmoser takes the win ahead of Ilan van Wilder, and with it takes the lead of the Deutschland Tour and the yellow jersey of race leader. But it is not all doom and gloom when it comes to Intermarché-Wanty, not only because Noah Peeters had a decent result, which we'll get to, but also because Laurens Rex is the green jersey of the race. That is because he won the intermediate sprint, and you get the same amount of points for winning the stage as you do the intermediate sprint, and for some reason they've given it to Laurens Rex, so I will take that happily. But here's the result in full. Skjelmoser ahead of Van Wilder, ahead of McNulty and Vlasov in 4th. But as you can see in the bottom left, Noah Peeters finishes in the top 15. Magnus Sheffield with a good result coming home in P5. But Peeters finishes just behind the likes of Richard Carapaz and Simon Yates. An impressive result to get the Deutschland Tour underway, but let's see what they can do on stage 2, and it's over to the sprinters.
Hello cycling fans everywhere. Given the sparsity of irregular terrain to be crossed by the riders today, it's hard to imagine anything else than a mass sprint. As can be expected, the big thighs of the peloton are raring to go.
And 3 sets of big thighs have gone up the road. 3 very good flat riders in Yuri Leitao, Brent Van Moor and Stefan Bissegger, who's in the breakaway for the 2nd time at this race in 2 straight days. But we're approaching the first intermediate sprints. No Laurens Rex up the road means that we are going for it with Gerben Thijssen, because he should be in contention by the time this stage finishes and should be one of the favourites for the stage, but it is a relatively stacked 2nd tier sprint field. The likes of Groenewegen are in this little wall that is forming at the front, but there's a small gap appearing on the left hand side. I'm going to try and weave my way through it, and indeed we do, and at the same time Milan Fretin is off as well, so we're going to sit in the wheel of the Belgian, come up the inside and see if we can take victory. We're out of red, but so is Milan Fretin, and we take the victory over the line there. That is useful points, 13 to be precise, but Bissegger takes the lead of the virtual classification. I don't think he'll be in that for long, because the gap is only 1 minute and 2 seconds. And that gap was very swiftly closed. They did get over the final 2 climbs of the day, so did take the King of the Mountains points there, but it's over to the sprinters teams, and at the moment it's Uno X that are coming to the forefront. Dylan Groenewegen was fighting for the wheels there with the Alpecin Deceuninck train, but Alpecin Deceuninck have come out on top and then have usurped Søren Verenskjold in his train, and now Verenskjold's going to have to do a quality lead out, but he is delivering at the moment. He's delivering for Kristoff. He unleashes Kristoff. Kristoff barrier side, but here comes Thijssen through the middle. Gaviria there too. Kristoff against Thijssen, and Kristoff gets there. It's a win for the Norwegian on the Norwegian team in stage 2 of the Deutschland Tour, and Kristoff proves why he was the pre-stage favourite. I'd say that's a win for Uno X more than a win for Kristoff, because Søren Verenskjold delivered his sprinter perfectly and Kristoff timed it right. We were just a little bit too early with Gerben Thijssen and died off towards the end, while Kristoff maintained his tempo and won the stage, and with it goes into the green jersey. It is a slightly tough lead to try and bring back, but I believe in ourselves that we can do it over the course of the race. But the stage results in full: Kristoff first, Thijssen second, with Groves in third, with Gaviria under-delivering in fourth. But that is the end of today's episode. Matthias Skjelmose retains his lead, but what can we do in the general classification? In the next episode, we'll be rounding off the Deutschland Tour, and we are getting to the end of Season 1. Could we get a stage win with Peeters, or anyone else for that matter, and can Thijssen turn around the just under 20-point gap he is behind Alexander Kristoff to win the green jersey? You'll have to find out in the next episode. If you're new here, drop a subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. But most importantly, stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.